We meet again. Very bright coach, extremely smart and intelligent, positive energy, positive attitude. And when you lose a coach like that, Sean Payton put it in perspective for me. At least you're picking the right guys, so that should give you some solace, and I'm happy for him. I think he'll do a great job for them, hopefully, except for 2 games. And, and he'll do a great job. I'm proud of him. No, his calmness, number one. His calmness, his attention to detail, his positivity is always building him up. And there were quite a few coaches on the staff that kind of did that. Thad Lewis, the quarterback coach, did that as well. The wide receiver coach, Brad Idzik, did it. And the offensive line coach helped him as well. But Dave was very good at bringing everybody together, hearing ideas, and, helping Baker be the best he could be.
Todd, when you have a new offensive coordinator, how much leeway do you give the guy at the start of the season, coaching and learning? Does it change depending on who the coach is, or you say, by week 3 I need to see X, or by week 6 I need to see more wins? Do you give the guy any kind of learning?
No, he has all the leeway he wants. My whole thing is if you're not ahead by 3 touchdowns with 5.5 minutes to go, you still try and score. You score the ball. If you're less than 3 touchdowns and 5.5 minutes to go, you're not going conservative trying to run the ball and eat the clock. You got to be smart. Obviously, any offensive coordinator has leeway coming in, but you understand what we have to do. He has to read the game when we're playing well defensively, when he might have to outscore someone, and it's never just run, pass. He has the leeway to call his plays. I'll have say so and whether to go for it on fourth down, things to do in 2 minutes, and so forth, and as well as red zone. But he has a lot of leeway. I have a lot of confidence in Liam, and I think he'll do a great job. Well, one of the first guys Liam brought up when he got the job was Brian McClendon. He's a heck of a wide receiver coach. He's the guy that all the pros go to in the offseason to help get ready. Didn't know if we can get him out of Georgia. Kirby does a great job with his staff down there, and just talking to him, bringing him in, very excited to have him. I don't know what led him to leave Georgia. I know he was very loved there like he is here, and I'm just happy to have him.
How much have you had an opportunity to look at this year's draft class? And so, are there any positions that you're especially excited about?
Haven't had much of an opportunity yet, but as soon as we get back, we'll dive into it more. Right now, best player available at 26. There'll be some guys rated very high that may fall, and I think we're in a good position to pick the best player.
Looking back on the exact competition last year, just reflecting back on it, who's got hope for Baker Mayfield, or maybe having less time with the first team, maybe slowing down a little bit?
I think that helped him because he appreciated Kyle and they competed against each other. I don't think it was a matter of getting less reps with the first team. I think he saw a guy that was coming for his spot that played very well, and Kyle came back. He was night and day from spring to summer, and I think it pushed Baker. I think Baker pushes himself anyway, but it's always good to have competition, and I think it helped him become the quarterback who he is right now.
What did you learn about Baker after working with him for a year? What did you learn about Baker? Playoff games.
Not much different. I know he has a stronger arm than I thought. I knew him very well beforehand. He was as advertised as far as being a great person, a leader, a fiery guy, very good in the locker room around the guys offensively and defensively. I think that's one of his biggest traits, bringing the team together without necessarily yelling and having to do it, but showing it by his actions, sitting down eating with the defensive guys, the linebackers, the D-line, the O-line, the running backs. He keeps everybody all inclusive, and he did a great job for us.
What did you say too about some of the young guys on defense and the way they stepped up? Guys like that you were able to climb out of it when you climbed out of the last 6 games.
Well, once they got better mentally, they became mentally tougher. We had some mistakes in the middle of the season that cost us some ball games. They came out the other side on that, and they started playing consistent football, and they started playing technique and fundamentals, and they got better and better, and they got better together, so I'm very excited for them. he definitely has to learn to take fewer hits. I think that's part of his DNA to know when he can go win the game and when he can't. You don't want him taking that many chances. He fought through them. He was beat up for the most part. Hopefully, we can get the ball out and keep him in the pocket a little bit more. But he has a very good feel for when he needs to run. I'm not saying he's going to be Lamar Jackson, but when he needs to run and get a first down, he can do that. Hopefully, he slides when he doesn't.
You mentioned Brad is in the role, and Dave got in the role. What's fun about it?
Brad's an outstanding coach. I really liked him before Dave came along as a wide receiver coach. I know his dad. I know all about him. He's a great young coach in this league. He's going to be a heck of a coach in this league. Very detailed, participates in routes as well, teaching all the time, whether you're an all pro, whether you're a scout team guy. He's always teaching. He's always getting guys better. He's always out there trying to push the envelope going forward to make guys better, which makes him a heck of a coach.
You had a really thorough coaching search this go around, just like you did last year. What made it to where you said, you know what, that's our guy?
Well, you do a thorough coaching search just so you can see what everyone is. I can't go by the named people. You have to find what's right for you and your team. It's not just everybody's going to have a scheme coming in. It's not the scheme that attracts you to them. It's understanding your scheme. And if someone stops it, then what do you do? Can you think after that? And can you fit in as well with the players and the coaches and the culture we have on our team? And that takes a while to do. And unless you go through quite a few guys, you're not going to really know. You can guess, but once you go through all that, and once I went through that with Liam, I knew he was the right fit. So it was very easy to hire him.
What was it that convinced you that he was the guy?
Well, I've seen him coach the past couple of years. I was fortunate enough to have a bye week when Georgia played Kentucky this past year. I was fortunate enough 2 or 3 years ago when Georgia played Kentucky down there to have a bye week when he was with Kentucky, and I saw him go with the Rams. And there's a lot of things that he done. You know, the fact that he's with Baker before was part of it, not a big part of it, but it was part of it. I think Baker can play with any coordinator, but it helped keep some of the coordination together and the continuity together from that standpoint. Liam's a very bright guy. Kentucky had a heck of a rushing game. He was with Sean McVay, who had a hell of a passing game. He knows both. He understands that. And as he gets more comfortable and sees how he fits the players in, I'm very confident he'll do a good job.
So what kind of grade did your son get?
I don't think my son knew offensive coordinators right then and there. He's a freshman, so he's still coming along.
Todd, when things were going wrong in 2007, who stood up in a lot more? Who assumed some of the leadership roles right from the time?
Other than the coaches, Levante and Tristan come to mind, and the fact that we were 4-7, we were losing games off of 1 or 2 plays. You know, we lost to Atlanta in 2 minutes. We lost to Houston in the 2 minute. So we were right there, and we were winning ball games. We could have easily had 10 or 11 wins, and we understood that, so we didn't try to tear it apart. But we knew, guys, as a team, we had to get ourselves together, and we knew where we stood in the division. But the leaders were Levante, the leaders were Tristan. Baker stood up and led some. Luke Gedeke stood up. Vita stood up. Winfield always stood up. And those guys came together, and they never lost faith. And you know, we went on a run. I mean, I don't know how you're not gonna get a lot of guys doing a whole bunch of drills. The film doesn't lie. I'm not gonna sit there and run a 4.2. If a guy runs a 4.240 and I haven't seen him on tape, I'm gonna say that was fast. Let me go back and watch him. I'm not gonna say I want him. I'm gonna say let's see how he plays. How he plays is the most important. The athleticism and what they do at the combine helps to see how versatile or how stiff or non-stiff they are. But if the film does not show the speed or the film does not show the tenacity or tackling, combine really doesn't mean anything to me. It can help you look at guys. It helps guys get looked at on tape. It helps you go look at the tape and want to do a deeper dive into them. And the scouts do that anyway, so it helps you want to do a deeper dive and say, hey, he's got height, weight, and speed. Let's go look at this guy. He may fit what we do. And then you kind of determine it from there. Chris Godwin has meant everything to this franchise from a leadership standpoint, from a work ethic standpoint, from a making plays standpoint, just from a culture standpoint. He does everything the right way. His work ethic is unquestioned and unmarveled. Great toughness, extremely smart player. Can go in there and mix it up, can go outside and make plays, has great hands, very unselfish, can block as well as run with the football on some jet sweeps. So everything Chris has done to this date, he's been a marvelous example of what a Tampa Bay Buccaneer is. I think we can get a lot out of all of them up there. Tristan as well. Technique and fundamentals are never to be let go. He can clean up some things and get better there. He'll be the first to tell you. He's a great player, but he can get even greater.
Todd, he previously said time how he could play next year quite a bit. He's not sure where. Do you see him factoring into the safety competition?
We'll see by the time free agency and the draft ends up. We'll see where our pieces are to see where we can move him. It's a tricky thing because he can play corner, he can play safety, he can play nickel, he can play either safety spot. So where he plays kind of won't be determined probably till the summer. I didn't think much of the trade because it didn't concern us at the time. I think Bryce is a tremendous talent, and he's going to be great for this league. I think CJ is a tremendous talent as well. He had the pieces and the scheme around him in Houston, and as you can see, they both can play. One starting one way or the other one started the other way, but you can't determine their careers until they're done. You can't go off for 1 year. You have to wait till they're done to see how they play, and I'm pretty sure they'll both be great quarterbacks. Obviously, the scheme fits CJ right there better. Bryce just got off to a rough start. It's hard playing as a rookie quarterback, it's trying to do all the things that you have to do. In CJ's case, it ended up great. In Bryce's case, it didn't. That doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. That just means the jury's still out on him. I have a lot of belief in him. I personally think he's a very good football player. It's going to work out the way it's meant to work out, one way or the other. You can hope for things and wish for things, and like I said, we got time now. And the league year hasn't started yet, so we have time, and this is the time to talk and meet and try to iron out some kinks. But you have to prepare for the worst. You have to prepare for the better. So either way, and I'm hoping it's the right way and the way that Baker and Mike comes back, because those two guys are great players. You have to prepare for it as a coach. So, and that's all we're doing. Well, it's a great thing because they get promotions and they go on and move on. It's a bad thing because of the relationships you develop with those guys and understanding what they meant to your organization. And when you play them, it's a good thing because you know them and they know you. So it's a matter of who knows each other better.
What do you say about the job that Mike Evans did this year? You think he did well for the season start?
Mike did a heck of a job. He came to work every day. He came to play every day, as you can see, as a result from his statistics. And he's been here for like a decade, and he's done the same thing every year. He's been very consistent. He's very dynamic, yet he's very humble off the field. But he's a confident player. He's one of my favorite players. I have a lot of respect for Mike and everything he does, and he's earned what he's done. We still have some time for that right now. Again, before the new year started, everything's not up in the air right now. So if that happens the other way, we'll have a plan for it. But right now, everything is tempered right now, so we'll see what happens. You have to look at everything free agency no matter what. No, obviously he had a few drops, but Trey is a very tough and talented player. I think the sky's the limit for him. Route running can always be better as a rookie. I think the NFL season is a shocker. It's a little longer than the college season, longer than they expect. I think the training he'll do this offseason will prepare him for next year. I thought he had a very good rookie year, especially getting him that late. He wasn't afraid of the situation. He's a smart football player. He's a talented football player, and I think he knows how good he can really be.
Coach Jensen said that with Liam in the room, there hasn't been a lot of talk yet. What the path in the draft is going to be? What are the talks of your staff right now? Getting this started.
Well, we're just getting them all in the building, number one. So we hadn't had really but one staff meeting, and right now that's just getting the playbook together, getting the things ironed out that we want to get on and get on the same page. So when the players come in, everybody's speaking the same language. That's the path we're on right now.
Coach, what can you say about Cody Mauch's great start to the season as a rookie and his long-term outlook on the offensive line?
I think starting an offensive line as a rookie is one of the hardest things to do in the NFL. And Cody did it kind of seamlessly, so you don't really talk about him. But he was a rookie, and he was going up against all pros every week. He held his own. He's a very smart player. He's a very tough player. He's a very dedicated player. With a year in the system and him getting in the weight room, I look forward to big things from Cody.
Last year, sim pressures kind of increased across the league. A couple of defenses had a lot of success with it. You yourself like to bring players from unexpected places. Can you talk to us just about how sim pressures impact today's game and how you might incorporate it into 2020?
Well, it's tough because it's such a passing league right now, and they're kind of limiting you to press coverage and man-to-man where you can't put your hands on them as much. So you got to try to do things to try to fool the quarterback or the offensive line or the receivers or somebody. You got to show pressure. Sometimes bring it, sometimes not bring it. I think sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But if you have a good feel for how you line up and you can create things off of the same looks, I think it helps you some. But you got to have players to execute it. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.